Missed Opportunities is the map where we have to clear out terrazine geysers for Stetman's bots to harvest. Then we have to protect said bots from enemies. If we lose more than one bot on brutal difficulty, we lose the game. Extra enemy waves drop every few minutes. All enemies are cloaked. Circles appear that can freeze your guys inside.
Fenix, where do we have him?
Fenix cannot summon detection anywhere at will, sadly. Well, he can, if a hero unit.
Yeah.
But when the hero unit is already out, he can't summon detection at will. He can't summon observers at will. But he does have observers, which are invisible detectors. So there is that.
Yes.
He also, this is very important, especially for the first wave, he can build cannons without a forge.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know, it's great, right? Anyways, so yeah, you could just have a cannon for the first wave. Cool stuff. You can get a hero unit who has detection who can be summoned anywhere, especially if you are using P1, because they didn't fix the Arbiter bug.
I don't think it was a bug. I think they did mention that it was a feature, since the suits are limited, so they just let you summon the Arbiter suit anytime, repeatedly.
Nah, Monk just kind of left while it was still in the game, and after accidentally breaking it because it wasn't in the patch notes. I'm pretty sure it's a bug that just once it started switching to community patches, everyone looked in and said, "No, we don't want to fix that one." It's a feature now. Yeah, it's a feature is determined by the community that started making community patches. Blizzard themselves didn't really have any input on it because Monk left before fixing it.
And by community patches, we really mean Tangorcraft patches. Thank you, Tangor. We really appreciate those.
Yeah.
Praise Tangor.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think Tangor actually asked about, like, do I fix that one? And pretty much the resounding result was, we think it probably is a bug, but we want to keep it.
Yes. Anyway, so where do we have him? Letter.
So I would say he could probably go into A tier because the first wave is very easy with the getting a cannon, and because he does have the ability to summon detection of a hero, but because he needs, because of the whole cooldown for summoning hero with detection, I would say that I would only put him in A tier if he is P1. Otherwise, I would probably put him in B tier. And if you are using P2, you might even go down to C tier because of how clunky P2 is here. Because your shell farm
will draw.
Is going to draw a whole bunch of aggressive deployment waves who are invisible and are going to drop on top of your shell farm that you may or may not have kept detection nearby, and also they're empty shells that just lose the fight anyways with whatever drops on top of their head. Especially depending on the enemy composition, you get a bunch of banelings drop on top of you, and you have no shells now.
Your shells are
because
bowling
you weren't
pins.
looking at them. Yeah. Don't touch P2 Phoenix here, please. Do not.
Okay, so you're saying A for first prestige, B for other prestiges,
and C or D for P2.
All right. How about you, Zero?
It's really bad.
I have him around B tier. His splitting is kind of awkward, just because you can't deploy other suits that effectively without having an observer there beforehand. And if you want to deploy the Arbiter, you're gonna have to recall, which is a decent amount of energy, so that'll probably get drained somewhat fast. So you still have to be in position most of the time. But yeah, other than that, I think he's solid. So B tier.
B tier. Sticksbender, is B tier okay for you?
I think so keep in mind, if it wasn't for P1, yes, B tier would be okay with me. But P1 also increases the energy regeneration rate on the Arbiter, so you have lots and lots of recalls. Because it's constantly cycling it out anytime you aren't actively deploying it, it also means you can't accidentally forget you have the Arbiter on the field. It will just pick itself up and start charging again anytime you look away. It's like your phone automatically locking itself, except if instead of automatically locking itself, it automatically plugged itself into the wall. Your Arbiter suit is going to be charging all the time, and it doesn't take that much energy to recall your army. So I think Fenix actually has really good map mobility, a summonable detector, and again, easy early wave with the early cannon that doesn't need a forge. I think P1 Fenix really just makes it A tier, like convincingly.
Okay. What do you think, Zero?
I mean, he doesn't have as reliable of a way to kill guys without detection, but I guess it doesn't matter too much if you have an easy way to
Yeah,
detect.
the green suit.
But here's what I'm thinking, like, compared to Artanis, like, that guy has pretty much like an arbiter suit, as in detection that you just warp in anywhere, but it's permanent. So, like,
But
I
he
mean,
can't recall his army with that Arbiter suit, unless it's P2, but then your energy is much more strapped than Arbiter suit
Sure.
energy, because Arbiter suit energy regenerates a lot faster than top bar energy.
Sure, but you shouldn't
That's
need to
true.
recall your army as like Artanis because you just have Archon dudes or the P1 High Templar.
True.
I don't know.
Recalling your army is generally going to be easier than having to rely on summoning new units that are, especially if they're spellcasters.
Maybe, but
Especially
like,
fragile spellcasters.
yeah. It leaves your other army like out of position if you just recall it. I don't know. Like to
The
me,
waves
well-
are roughly at a rate of like every 30 seconds ish on
Something
missed
like that.
opportunities.
Yes. The bot waves,
So-
that is. The bot waves.
Yeah, the bot waves
Yeah.
are roughly every 30 seconds ish. The Arbiter stays on the field for 20 seconds before swapping out, so you should be able to deploy the Arbiter with every single attack wave. And to be honest,
Yeah.
if you are actually standing in the middle of the three bots, personally, whenever there isn't any like mutator like speed freaks or something, oftentimes I don't even split my army when soloing on this
You can
map,
chase them?
simply because I chase them because, well, the reality is if you
Yeah,
are
you
like
can.
in the middle of the three bots and you respond really quickly to when the dot first appears on the minimap, you can kind of get there on time anyways. So if you now also have a recall that you should have up for every single wave on top of that to make up for if you're too late, you shouldn't ever be too late to get your whole army in position with a detector, at which point kind of what mutation?
Okay, so I'm gonna bring up a different point. You were the one who mentioned earlier that Zerglings with adrenal glands can destroy bots in 3 seconds. So how about
Yes.
later waves with those same Zerglings, and then you add something like aberrations or swarm hosts or hydralisks? Won't they just bring down the bots faster than you can get there if you're just running around as Phoenix?
The problem is that the Zerglings will stay behind and wait for their other slower friends in the attack wave, and especially when they start sending Vipers in their attack waves, Vipers move a lot slower than the rest of Swarmy Zerg, and the other Zerg compositions also have a lot of slower units that the Zerglings have to wait for. And there's also the fact that, keep in mind, you do have the other two Phoenix suits, and
Oh
The-
yeah.
Praetor Phoenix can just drop on top of Zerglings and
Put 'em
spin
in a blender.
aggressively, and that's something that doesn't need detection. Blend the Zerglings.
Yeah.
So yeah, like my point was that like even if you are attached to F2A move, Phoenix is actually still quite friendly to F2A move here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think there's a fair number of people who like to F2A move in general.
So what do you think, Zero?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm fine with A tier. I might be being a bit too nitpicky for this easy
But
mutation.
it's what Sticksbender says is A tier only for the first prestige, Aqua Dollar.
Yeah, I'd
Otherwise,
recommend
otherwise
P1
it's
here.
B tier. Otherwise, I'm
Yeah.
agreeing with B tier.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put Phoenix in A tier.
Emperor, much has been written in regards to the tragic fall of Tarsonis. Toloski's investigative documentary, Imperial Dawn, even claims that you brought down the Confederate system by assuring Tarsonis' fall.
I've heard these conspiracy theories before, but the fact remains. The Zerg invaded Tarsonis en masse, and no force in the universe could have stopped their onslaught. It was a very terrible day.
Toloski's film highlights the seeming convenience of the aliens annihilating a corrupt government that you yourself spent a lifetime trying to overthrow.
Millions died that day, and you speak to me of convenience? Yes, I strove against the evils of the old Confederacy, but never with the object of personal gain. When I was called upon to take up the heavy burden of leadership, I did so only to ensure our continuing survival as a species.
Striking words from the Emperor himself. Up next, Zerglings allergic to lemon juice, old wives' tale, or new super weapon in the fight for humanity.